This is the community video for July 2024, and the question I asked people in my Patreon was, what was your first video game you ever played and how did it make you feel? The first answer we got here was from Victoria. At my old age, I think I started off with the OG NES Mario game. I had a Sega Genesis as well. Started playing PC games with the very first Age of Empires and The Sims. Didn't really consider myself a gamer until Portal. I think it's actually a very interesting way of putting it, by the way. To me, it's like, I don't know when I started considering myself someone who was really into video games, like a gamer or whatever. And maybe it was around the time I got the PlayStation 2, because even playing the PlayStation 1, I was like, I just like games. I like watching my brother play games. But yeah, it's kind of crazy because I played The Sims 1 when I was a kid, and it was the greatest game of all time to me at the time, because I was like, I can control things in real life. This is so cool. But I never actually got to play the original NES Mario game in full. Never got to play it, but cool choice. Thank you for saying cool choice. It's not a choice, it's what happened. Cool choice, Victoria. Thank you so much for that. Leon says, Majora's Mask for the N64. To this day, it's one of my favorite Zelda games. The original has such a soft spot for me that the remake can never fill, since it scrapped a lot what used to make the game so original. The visuals of the remake felt almost sanitized in comparison, and it felt like it was missing something. The story is nothing short of amazing, and never stopped thinking about how it must have been for Link, who was 10, to have go through so much trials after losing Navi, not to mention the questions of the younger versions of the masked salesman who posed towards the end. I wonder, the face under the mask, is that your true face? Majora's Mask tells me about identity and healing and also morality. I can go at length about what Majora's Mask means to me, but we'd all be here all day. I just very much adore it. I have an all mask playthrough of Majora's Mask on my channel, and I do love that game as well. I think it's very, very good. I think what you said about the sanitization of remakes is such an important point, Leon. Shadow of the Colossus, to me, the remake of that sanitized my favorite game of all time, to the point that I can never play the remake. I only played the original. It's too clean. Too clean. Games don't need to be clean. They need to have style, in my opinion. But yeah, really cool to hear about Majora's Mask, a game that I played through pretty much 100%, I guess. If you go all masks, I guess it's not 100%, but all masks. What's Your Damage says, if I remember, I played Mario Party DS, and the DS was the only console I got to own when I was younger. I never even finished on my own because I was terrified of the bosses like Piranha Plant and the Wizard. Relatable. My big sister and cousins were the ones who helped me beat it, but I never got past Bowser. Now adult me bought a pre-owned 3DS, and I'm slowly making my way across the game so I can feel what kid me can ever could. Yeah, it did scare me as a kid, but I remember when Nintendo DS was offline, me and my sisters and cousins actually played together, and I was such a sore loser. Now all them grew past video games, but I haven't, because it's just so healing and fun. I always choose Peach or Daisy because I'm like that. It was either Mario Party or DS or Imagine Fashion Stylist. I bought these games a couple of months ago and ended up playing the Fashion Stylist more and more on the way to classes. These games give me so much cozy and warm feeling because they're just very familiar. Sorry for the long ramble. Wonder if you can share a photo somewhere or where I had progress recently. Sorry that I didn't get you this, but you can always share a photo. I'll put it in the next community video, no problem. What's Your Damage if you want to do that. But yeah, definitely something that I can relate to, which being terrified of creatures and enemies in games and having people have to beat the bosses for me. I think even my sisters did stuff for me as well when it came to beating bosses. I will say as well, the 3DS, if you're running right through the 3DS, I would say the 3DS is the second greatest video game library in the history of video games. It's so incredible. It's so underrated, and the fact that there's still so many games on the system that aren't going to be able to play because people don't have it is incredible to me. But it's still such a great system, and I'm so happy you're going to get to play the 3DS a lot more. It's such a good system. Felicious Felix says, oh god, I can't remember my first game, but I think two I remember fondly playing would be The Legend of Spyro and The New Beginning on DS and Sonic Heroes on my Xbox. Runner-up will be replaying The Return to Castle Wolfenstein because I played it with my dad. Growing up on the original Tom Clancy Splinter Cell, my dad was a big influence on a few games. I grew up playing on Xbox because he'd buy to play with me when I was young. The two last was a good influence, letting a 10-year-old play M-rated games. Relatable. The last two were my first, but it might have been my first console game. As a kid, my mother let me play GTA San Andreas, and I learned right from wrong from those games. You can't hit police officers in the face because you will get arrested. You can't run down people in your car because you will get arrested. I learned this stuff from that game. No, I already knew about this stuff. But yeah, I played M-rated games as a kid. I watched horror movies. And honestly, I feel like if you're unhinged, it could definitely do some stuff. But for me, it was it didn't affect me too much. Legend of Spyro, I played the first trilogy of Spyro games. So I never actually played Legend of Spyro. I wonder if it's actually good, but it sounds like it's a fond memory. It's a fond memory for sure. Yeah, really cool. Fruity says, I think my first game was Super Mario Kart on the NES. when I was 3 or 4. Thus began my journey as a Princess Peach fan. Princess Peach, such a great choice of someone to stan. Yeah, Mario Kart games are absolutely fantastic. I played the Wii version. I got the Wii version as a kid and played that endlessly, non-stop. I still have that version and I could play it tomorrow. To me, it's still one of the greatest racing games I've ever played, if not the best racing game I've ever played in my goddamn life. Radish says, might be late to answer, but I think the first game I played was Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I just remember running around Hyrule Field being terrified of the flying enemies and the skeleton enemies that appeared at night. Visiting the game years later makes me feel so much nostalgia for even small details. And I remember playing as a kid. Another one was Super Mario Sunshine. I just spent hours as a kid swimming around Delfino Plaza instead of doing any levels. I also have my Mario Sunshine playthrough on the channel. I love that game so much. It's, to me, the second greatest platform I've ever played in my life, after probably Spyro 2. But the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, if you count Hollow Knight, it'll probably be up there too. But yeah, Ocarina of Time is one of those games that after I played it twice, I was like, oh, this game is pretty much perfect in a lot of ways. And it laid the groundwork for so many games that made me so freaking happy. And like playing it on the channel was such a drag the first time, because I was like, this is such a, like, it feels very dated. But then when you actually get into it, it's not dated whatsoever. It's just like has a lot of charm to it for sure. Yeah, great choices. Again, great choices. It's what happening. Malcolm Condé says, growing up with siblings who would let me play in front of them from time to time makes it so I truly don't remember when my first time I played a video game. Hell, I've got pictures of myself with a PS2 controller in my hand alongside my brother while I was a baby. Something I do know is which game I started and finished on my own. That was Plants vs. Zombies. What hooked me? The absolute banger soundtrack. They didn't need to go so hard with the OST for a game about Plants to Kill Zombies. So Malcolm Condé also has something else. They created an extension, which is funny. An extension that I find very, very funny. So this extension that they created was an extension that turns every single video into a Romer video. I'm a total piece of shit. My first time watching Death Note is me making a banana knife. Yeah, this is all my videos anyway. This is definitely my last Genshin video before Natlan. Yeah, this is me as well. All this stuff is just me, you know. There's Murder Birds Impact as well. I can't watch the videos, but like I see them recommended sometimes, and we will eventually. So yeah, this is my video now, Murder Birds. If you see this Murder Birds, shout out. This is now mine. Very, very cool. It's very, very funny stuff. If you want to join in this, you can check the description below and check out the Patreon. It's actually a really fun thing that we do. We chat about stuff like this all the time in the Patreon chats anyway. So it's actually very cool. Thank you so much to my patrons at the Never Can Repeat Baby Gangsta tier on Patreon. TieFire2, JB Bull, Jan and Banana, The Ghost of Inazuma, Felicious Felix, George Candelaria, Eskun, Yuld, Radish, Fruity, Anusta, Shabata Bread, Malcolm Day, V Mika, Death Trap, and Lynx Markey. And I'll see you guys next month for the next community video. Goodbye.
Shine,